feel like you're defined by your job? Well, you're not alone. But is that really how it should be? Hi, and welcome to The School Crisis, a channel where we talk about education and learning. I am Tamara Richter, and today we're going to talk about education and employment. How are they connected? Let's start with a quote. There is no future in any job. The future lies in the man who holds the job. George W. Kane, 1924. Wow, right? This quote feels as relevant as it did back then. It makes us rethink the way we see jobs. Not something that we depend on, but something that depends on us. We are the center, we are the ones with the essence, right? But how did we get here, with education so closely tied to jobs? After World War II, a big shift happened. Economists began seeing human abilities, our skills and knowledge, as a kind of investment. Theodore Schultz, a famous economist, was like, wait a second. People are a huge resource that industries can't ignore. He called this human capital. Treat education as an investment in men, and treat its consequences as a form of capital. Theodore Schultz, 1960. That idea blew up. Schools became seen as places where we invest in human capital. That means you. And education became tightly connected to employment. This thinking still shapes how we see education today, even though it's not the only reason we go to school, right? And here is where things get a little tricky. Sure, education helps prepare us for jobs, but is that all it should do? Diplomas became a way to prove your human capital. So we have this system where diplomas and degrees are proof of our abilities, and this is credentialism. According to Randall Collins, we live in a credential society, where having a credential is a way to prove to the world what you know and are able to do. Credentialism basically means that employers look at our education, our credentials, and decide whether we are qualified for a job. And here's the kicker. Many important skills like teamwork, problem solving, critical thinking, creativity aren't exactly easy to measure, and you can't prove them with a diploma, can you? Having the paper doesn't necessarily mean that you have the skills. So that lack of translation of skills into a diploma or a paper, and many times you don't learn at the university what you need for the job, and then you get to the job and you need your diploma, but you also need experience, and it's a mess. There's something that's becoming more of an issue today, and this is credential inflation. Sounds familiar? It's when so many people have degrees that they start to lose their value. You know, when everyone at the party is wearing the same outfit. It's less special. Let's zoom out for a second and think about something bigger. In our world today, jobs aren't just about paying the bills. They become a huge part of our identity. Ever been to a party where the first thing someone asks is, so, what do you do? Yeah, we all been there. We are living in what experts call the knowledge society, where the most valuable thing isn't materials or factories. It's us, our skills and brains. Peter Drucker, a management guru, nailed it when he said that in the 21st century, the real wealth of companies comes from their people, their human capital. And yes, you got it. This is why it's connected to education. When governments and international organizations realize that human capital is very valuable for the global market, let's invest in education and prepare people to get jobs, and let's make it mandatory. So mandatory education to have more people prepared to get our industries to the next level and make more capital. So if our education system focuses on preparing us for work, it's no wonder we tend to link our self-worth to our jobs. But there's the big question: should our jobs really define us? Or are we more than what we do? And what do we do with all this? Well, maybe it's time to rethink the way we see education, not just as a pipeline to get a job, but as a tool for personal growth, critical thinking, and a way to develop skills that go beyond what can be shown with a diploma. What do you think? Should schools be focused on creating human capital for the workforce? Tell me in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if it was helpful for you. See you next time.